Hello, everyone. Welcome to your second snap take of the day. And on this channel, we don't usually cover OTA, but now we got to. This is the patch that was promised. This is the OTA we have all been waiting for. Bounce is dead. Long live move? Question mark. We have a brand new meta. I cannot possibly explain this, hype this up enough. The meta is different from where it was when you played this morning, when you played yesterday. The decks you are playing should change. The decks you are playing against should change. Your strategy should change. This is a brand new Marvel Snap meta. This is what we all thought the patch would be last week. This is unbelievably big. I'm not going to hype you up too much more before we get there. But hey, before we do get there, hit that sub really fast. What we do on the channel is we give you 2 brand new decks every weekday. And now we're going to have even more new decks because of all these changes. We get you ahead of the meta, ahead of the best and biggest players in the game, the best deck so that you can win cubes, hit infinite, hit infinity, and achieve your goals in Marvel Snap. The other thing we do is we do the biggest giveaway in Marvel Snap. We're actually going to have 2 giveaways running concurrently, not next week, the week after. We're going to have the biggest season pass giveaway in Marvel Snap. You can get one of at least 5 season passes and a grand prize, and you can get a Prime subscription to Marvel Snap Zone, the site I write for, trying to support it, and Den is doing coaching over there, and more people need to experience just how awesome at this game that person is. So please make sure you hit sub so you don't miss these things. I can't talk about this anymore. Sub, like, comment. Appreciate you. Spread the word. We love the support. Let's get to the cards. Because the first one is the best card in the game is now probably not. Kitty Pryde is a 1/2 that now gets +1 when it returns. That's from 1/0 that gets +2. The ceiling goes from like a 12 power card to like a 7 or 8 power card. It's still very good. It's now better when it's played late. It still enables Bishop and Angela, but it's no longer a win condition. No longer something you have to run Angela and Invisible Woman and Killmonger to counter. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill, very good card. What does this do to Bounce? This and the 2 other changes I think are going to fundamentally remove Bounce from the top of the meta. I think Bounce, unlike High Evolutionary, I think High Evolutionary is nearly as good as it was. I think Bounce now becomes a tier 2 deck. I think it's going to have to start running more tech cards like Iceman, Korg, Darkhawk, that kind of thing like it used to, instead of Kitty Pryde. I hope I'm wrong. I think Bounce is really fun, but I think this is going to put it back down. What is Kitty Pryde's main other home? Well, first of all, a lot of people like KM Best and LJB and so on were playing this Kitty Shuri list recently. They took it to a few tournaments. It's been winning a lot. Kitty is now gone from that deck. Shuri and Kitty is going to give you like 12 power. That is no longer worth the investment. So Kitty is gone from those decks. Where does Kitty go instead? I think Kitty's main home is going to be Sarah decks because Sarah decks were using her as a power boost, not a win condition. I think Sarah Miracle is sort of a big winner of this Kitty change because it pushes away Bounce and instead pushes this deck into the meta with Kitty Pryde. And I think it's good for like as a package anytime you can run her and Angela. That's still going to be a decent way to gain power. There was a package that was Kitty Pryde, Bishop, Mysterio, and Angela, and that has taken a big hit because the last card in that package was Hitmonkey, and Hitmonkey was changed in a huge way. For Bounce, Hitmonkey should work very much the same way on turn 6 because fundamentally what happens is that 2 power that Hitmonkey starts with is similar to the 2 power it would have if you had just played another card with it. What you're losing is that power you got if you played that other card with it. Right. So like, let's say you were playing a 1-cost card, for example, a demon. That's 6 less power that you were able to play with Hitmonkey. So far, so good. In addition, this makes bounce decks or decks that would run Hitmonkey significantly weaker against Wave because now all you can do is play Mysterio and Hitmonkey, nothing else. That is your turn 5. There is no more Mysterio Hitmonkey turn 4, which makes the deck far, far worse against things like Storm. Hitmonkey, I think, is not dead, but like significantly altered. Yesterday we did a high evolutionary deck that was running Hitmonkey as a card that to top out a Sarah Miracle deck. Now you would have to be playing an Invisible Woman there. Like, you're just not getting enough out of Hitmonkey if you're going Hitmonkey after Sarah, Hitmonkey, Shang-Chi. That's a 3-cost card, a 2-cost card. Now you only have one mana left. You're only getting 1/2 drop out. It's no longer worth it. So I think that kind of deck is dead. I don't know how to play Hitmonkey in that. I think Hitmonkey does have a play still in Surfer, but that might be his only home. And I'm talking specifically about Safety Blade Surfer that I shared last week. I think it's one of the best decks in the game, even after this nerf. It was running like this kitty package. But let's say you're playing Sarah in your Hitmonkey bouncy Surfer list, right? What you can end up doing in that list is last turn, you've got Surfer, Hitmonkey for 2, and then you've got Mysterio and a 1-drop, for example, Kitty Pryde on the last turn, and you still have a crazy, powerful, explosive last turn of the game. I think that might be the only home, and that home is still fairly weak to things like Wave. I think the nerf really, really, really crushed this deck. Speaking of big nerfs, Spider-Ham is now a 2/2. That's unbelievable, right? Like, Spider-Ham released less than a month ago. I told you it was powerful. Apparently has the 3rd highest win rate in bounce. It also just went in a lot of other decks. Now, I'm going to be straight up. I don't even know if it's playable. I was often playing Spider-Ham on 2 or 3, but like the option to play it as an extra card with something else is kind of what made it so insanely strong. I don't think this affects bounce. I think bounce is already killed. But I think this affects all the other smaller homes that Spider-Ham had. This puts cards like Hela back into the meta. This makes a lot of extra things work significantly. A lot of extra low-cost strategies work significantly worse. But it instead makes, it brings back your Apocalypse discard, which was killed by Spider-Ham and so on. I'm not sure that this is a playable card. I'm not sure it has any home in the game outside of, again, maybe like a Sarah deck. Sarah got like a very quiet boost here, and I don't think that this goes at all in bounce. I think you just straight up remove it from bounce. Let's get crazy. Ghost Spider was a 2/3. Now it is insanely a 1/2. You heard that right. A 1/2. What does that do to move? It makes it incredible. So just being able to play it incidentally on turn 4 after like a vulture is insane, right? Like, it basically becomes a second better Iron Fist for that deck, and Iron Fist was basically that deck's best enabler. So now you have a choice to play it either before or after and get the benefit. It's amazing. It's amazing with Spider-Man 2099. This is a stealth buff to that. It makes bounce, that like there were those decks that were trying to do bounce and move. I think that is the new way to build bounce around Ghost Spider, Human Torch, and just try and like keep Falcon and Beast in the deck and basically be able to get those cards back, play them again, move them, play them again, over and over again. I think that's going to be absolutely silly strong. Ghost Spider's amazing. Like, Ghost Spider was a really good card. Also, in if you haven't seen Paper had that deck that was basically running Ghost Spider as a way to move a Doc Ock or avoid a Shang-Chi or reposition as a surprise. As a 1/2, it's amazing at that. And sometimes, yeah, 1/2 means it's more likely to get Shang-Chi, but it's an on reveal, so it's done what it was going to do by that point. This is a huge, huge, huge buff. This is almost the biggest buff in this patch. Excuse me, OTA. Somehow this is only an OTA. So this is unbelievable. This is like one of the best filler cards in the game, right? Ghost Spider. Hopefully you bought it in the previous season pass, because geez, now you sure wish you did. That change has nothing on this one. The best deck in the game right now is a Phoenix Force deck. Am I sure what that Phoenix Force deck is? No. But the best deck in the game is a Phoenix Force deck. Likely trying to kill multiple man. Because you can now go like multiple man into whatever, right? Okay, here, let's do a play line. Cool. You go multiple man into Carnage and Iron Fist, into Phoenix Force, into Ghost Spider and Doctor Strange, and you're just dragging this power all over the board. You can add Shuri into those combos. You can add Hulk Buster into those combos. There's so much this does. 4, 5 plus the 3 is also 8. So it's now Shang-Chi proof, which means it should be ridiculously easy early to fill up a board with 8 cost things, 24 power in every location. Shang-Chi is now useless. Good luck. It should be absolutely bonkers easy. It's way harder to play Shang-Chi because of that. Because once your opponent knows you have Shang, they should be easily able to play around that. It synergizes with Zabu. Phoenix Force just went from apparently a meme card, is what people said. I thought it was good, not great. That would be better in the next meta. Well, we don't have to wait for that because now I think it's the best card in the game. If you haven't bought this card, like, go now. You won't regret it. What does this do to move? Move is an immediate T1 deck with this. What does this do to destroy? Destroy is an immediate T1 deck with this. This is, I think, the best card in the game. Like, straight up, I think the best card in the game. Does this have a home in other decks? Anywhere you can fit it. If you can, I would bet you there's like a 3 or 4 card destroy package you just run. Maybe even in like a stats deck that just works freaking fantastically with this. I'm actually going to try and put all of these together. We're going to be deck building like maniacs with the Phoenix Force. They're telling you to buy the card. They're saying, make sure you're like these last two. These last two are saying, hey, buy the season pass because we're going to get you value. You already got value out of Hitmonkey if you bought him. He was in the best deck in the meta for a month and a half. And now they're saying we're going to make sure Nimrod has been meta and is still probably meta in that Phoenix Force deck as well. So like there's that meta deck too. There's an insane amount of meta stuff to do with the Phoenix Force. They're telling you season pass cards will be worth it. Buy the season pass. This is now a subscription model game. You can hate that and think it's not worth it all you want, but that's where we live. Living Tribunal is now 6-9. Spider-Ham is removed from the meta, so Living Tribunal being a 6-9 plus Hela is absolutely bonkers. This might be enough to make Echo worth it, to be perfectly honest, because like that Invisible Woman MODOK Hela play is going to be absolutely off the charts, especially with Tribunal in the deck. The Tribunal, I played a lot of that deck. Safety Blade did it. You know what? That's actually going to be the deck of the day tomorrow. Let's talk about Safety's Hela Tribunal deck because, well, it's got this card and then another card we'll talk about in a minute, which is my favorite change of the whole patch. But the amount of games you would win if Tribunal was just a little stronger in certain places, whether with the Iron Man and Onslaught package or with the it came back and I just needed like 1 or 2 more power to be spread across all 3 locations to change the averages is absurd. And I'm not sure that this Hela Tribunal deck is not immediately meta. So we gotta talk about this. It's, how do I put this? Probably in the top 5 decks, at worst top 10. Tribunal was in a Spotlight cache with Jean Grey, and a lot of people complained about getting Tribunal. Well, never mind, right? Like, suddenly it's a good grab that goes in decks that is. Welcome to the meta, Tribunal. Does it go in any other decks besides Hela and the Iron Man deck? I don't think so, and like its super is gone from negative decks now, but like, okay. Negative decks get enough of a pump from this. My favorite change in the whole patch. This is unbelievable. Like, unreal. This is apparently largely to celebrate her Phoenix 5 variant, which also means that if you bought the season pass and complete it, you have Magik, right? Like, you'll still open her on collection track, but even if you're earlier in the game, you just sort of get Magik for buying the season pass. They're like all about providing value with the season pass right now. She is now a 3-2, which is like straight up bonkers good in Mr. Negative decks. Like, oh my god, amazing in Mr. Negative decks. But beyond that, it's amazing in Hela decks. Like that deck I was talking about with Tribunal and Hela is also running Magik as a way to find more cards. Well, now you can Magik on 3 and just start going. Where else is this good? How about Sarah decks instead of that Scarlet Witch, or in addition to the Scarlet Witch, so you can make them think there's that extra turn and take it away? Scarlet Witch now has to come into the meta. Storm is back in the meta even more to stop Magik. How can you tell when Magik's going to come? Are you playing her on 3 and giving warning? Are you playing her on 5 and playing mind games? Does she go in Surfer as an extra turn to make sure you see Surfer and get all your combos off? If a lane is locked off with Storm, it doesn't hurt you that much, right? Where else could this go? God, like almost every deck in the okay, your opponent's gonna wave. Are they gonna wave on turn 5 and you can still play a 3/2 Magik and then another 2 cost card, for example? Let's say Jeff, Silk, or Medusa or Lizard, right? That's a lot of power when they're waving. And now that wave did nothing. It stopped a play for 1 turn. The next turn, you can still go off. Is this Christmas? Is this what Christmas feels like? Like Prime Day is supposed to be Christmas in July, right? I think this patch, this OTA is Christmas in July. And if you would like to get me a Christmas in July present, hit me with that sub, hit me with that like, hit me with that comment. I am so hyped for this game as of right freaking now. Let's go see you tomorrow for another Snap Take where we're going to build with these freaking fundamentally brand new cards. Have a great one. Peace.